Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Water Zone. We're here in beautiful downtown Orlando, Florida today. And why, Michael?
We are attending the Irrigation Association Trade Show and Educational Conference.
Right. So live and in color, direct from Orlando, Florida. Welcome to the show. Hey, we have some great guests today. We're very excited. It was an awesome show. We're going to have representatives from the IA and Toro and Site One and some other companies, and well done, and we're very excited to have everybody come here today. Our first up, we have a gentleman named Steve Counter. He's Director of Category Management for Site One, and they are a landscape supply, very large, very good company. And Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me here.
Can you tell us a little about Site One?
Absolutely. So a lot of you know Site One is John Deere Landscapes. It was a company that was formed in 2001. It was a vision of providing a national network of supplies for the green industry, and it really came about with the combination of McGinnis Farms as well as Century Rain Aid. And that took us to about 243 stores in that neighborhood with a national reach. But we didn't end there. In 2007, then we acquired Lesco, and Lesco almost doubled the number of stores that we had in the network to somewhere around 450. With all that taking place in 2013, John Deere Landscapes had CD&R invest in the business. CD&R then took that business, still under the John Deere Landscape name, and brought in new leadership under Doug Black, who came from Oldcastle, and then Doug Black and the team, the leadership team, took the company public in 2016. Changed our name from John Deere Landscapes to Site One Landscape Supply, which we are today, and are a publicly traded company. So our network probably includes 480 stores. We continue to acquire companies both locally, regionally, and nationally, depending on the market conditions, our reach, what gaps we may have in the line, because it's important to note that Site One Landscape Supply is a full-line distributor, so we provide irrigation products, lighting products, landscape supply products, maintenance supply products, and nursery products as well. So we have a large offering for our contractor base.
So, well, today, if I'm not mistaken, Site One Landscape Supply has more branches really than any other distributor in this, at least in the irrigation industry.
I hear they're going international, meaning north of the
We do have locations in Canada, absolutely. So we don't want to forget about our Canadian brothers, and we are looking at other opportunities elsewhere in North America. But we are, one of the few distributors with a national footprint. That's what makes us attractive, not only to the vendor partners that we do a lot of business with, but also the contractors who may have business, either regionally or nationally themselves. There are a lot of companies that do business across state lines.
I would think, becoming the large player in the industry could lead to a situation where, you try to leverage that incredible reach across the entire United States. But I think I've heard discussion of the kind of business philosophy that Site One has implemented, where there really is that sense of partnership with its various vendors and especially with customers. Right. Maybe you could share a little bit about that business philosophy.
Absolutely. I mean, one of our core competencies and one of the values that we really like to talk about is the partnership we have not only with the vendor community and being a distributor of choice for the vendor community.
So it ties with your tagline.
It certainly does.
Together.
That was going to be my point next.
That's right.
We also want to be the distributor of choice for the contractor. And so, when Doug Black and team took over leadership position of Site One, John Deere Landscape at that time, Stronger Together became our tagline because of exactly that. We can provide the best solutions in our mind to the contractors and to our vendors and be stronger together, because ultimately what we want to do is provide the contractors with a platform to be as successful as they possibly can in their businesses. And we hopefully do that with the services, the quality of the product that we provide them.
Well, you can go one step further. You have Site One University. Can you tell us a little about that? So we
did
our research.
Yeah, it's important that we stay very knowledgeable within the various business units we're in, right? I kind of mentioned all the different categories we play in, but as you can imagine, that's a lot of product to learn and understand, and so it's important that we not only train our associates on the fundamentals of irrigation and become an irrigation expert so they can talk to a contractor about what their challenges are and find solutions. But it's equally important to train our contractors on other opportunities for revenue growth or revenue generation. So maybe you're an irrigation contractor and you're looking for new business opportunities. We can train you on lighting. But it's an opportunity to bring in the vendors, bring in local contractors, train everybody who's involved, including our associates, on the various platforms that may be on the agenda for that day. And it does make us all stronger together.
Oh, we've got call in. So I'm curious, did the drought in California, was that significant enough that you saw a blip on the screen, so to speak, in terms of what you're selling or what customers are demanding? And I'm just curious to know from the perspective of a supplier to the contracting base, if that was noticeable.
It was, and I think water conservation is such a reoccurring theme with IA as well as other local and regional industry events. But it's a critical component of how we want to go to market. I think California taught all of us a valuable lesson on water conservation, and that is not a resource to be taken lightly. But it did change buying behaviors by the contractor as well as the consumer, the homeowner, the residential consumer, end customer, because water is expensive, and it became a resource that they clearly everybody wanted to pitch in and all try to conserve. So it did change buying behaviors. You found that more business went to micro irrigation and drip, and then zero landscape, which means that basically it was just local fauna that they maybe put into the yard, so you wouldn't irrigate as much. So, but we had the landscape supply product to support that, or the nursery products to change that product mix from plant perspective at the job site. But it absolutely did have an impact, and a lasting impact, because I think those trends that were created there continue. Long term, you saw rotors continue to have a smaller place within the market as you look for more water efficient type irrigation methods. And then that has also spread to other parts of the country. You saw a similar type impact in Texas when Texas went through their drought. Now, unfortunately, they've had the opposite occur recently, but it's something that we all take a close look at as to how we can continue to drive water conservation and provide the right products to the contractors so we can ultimately save everybody time and money.
Do you also look to the level of people coming off the street, homeowners and regular people? I know for us, everybody thinks it's simple. Here's a new controller, but they don't know how to program the smart controller.
Right.
And sometimes the contractor knows how, and that's great. Then the contractor leaves after he installs it, and the homeowner goes, "What are all these buttons? What do I do?"
Yeah. I mean, well, it's not necessarily a bad thing for the contractor. He may like that because it's a return
call
service
back.
call, right?
Right.
But there are homeowners who express interest in our products and everything else. We try to steer them back to a contractor. We are a wholesaler, so we want to obviously work through contractors and local contractors to drive business. But we'll support a homeowner if he has questions like that, or she. We are also launching a new e-commerce platform next year, which will allow not only the contractor but the consumer to do research on our products and our offering. They certainly won't have the same access as a contractor in regards to price and things and availability. But if they're looking for product specifically and information on that product, that may help them if they need to troubleshoot or something else. So,
well, I find that education is the most important factor, no matter what product or whatever you have. It's so simple to say, look what we got, and then you see it for the moment, and then the manufacturer walks away or the contractor walks away. And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, in California, a lot of people really don't want to spend $50 to $75 or $85 for somebody to come and reprogram something that's really simple, but they never were taught, or they forgot because it was too difficult, or they don't want to read an 85-page manual to do it. So I think that's important that they have a go-to place, at least that somebody can talk. Yes, you want to push them towards the contractor, but sometimes they don't want to do that.
Well, the other thing to consider is that in a lot of cases we have our vendor partners now introducing very user-friendly platforms, and especially we're talking about controllers. So, you have some Wi-Fi controller platforms available through a lot of, some of our preferred vendors, some of the top players out there, which is a lot easier for the homeowner consumer to understand and to program and to make changes to. So, we, along with everyone else, want to get involved in innovation and how we can make things easier, not only for the contractor, but for the homeowner too. So you're starting to see products that are being introduced into the market that do make it easier for the homeowners to understand if they want to make a programming change. And with the smart, platforms and the Wi-Fi enabled controllers, they can do that now.
To me, it's bringing science and common sense together.
That's right.
That manufacturers have to do that. And I think they're starting to do that now because the demand is there.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about what you saw at the show?
Yeah, it was a great show. They always do a fantastic job. There's always, a lot of things you can learn as you walk the show, new products from various vendors and new ways to go to market, and it's a good opportunity to reacquaint yourself with old friends and new potential relationships. And I always enjoy my time here, so I just want to say I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to both of you, and it was a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you again.
We really appreciate SiteOne and their sponsorship of the Water Zone.
And the distributor of our products. So,
that's right.
So it's I think it's a good marriage, and we're always trying to be honest with each other. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
So, Steve, thanks a lot.
Okay.
We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again.
Okay.
Take care. Travel safely back to Georgia.
To Atlanta. That's right. Got to head back tonight. Thanks for having me on first because I got to catch a flight.
All right. Thank you.
Just send the money to us and flight check. That'll be good. Okay, up next, who's volunteer? We got Mr. Dan Winterton.
Director of Marketing for
the Toro Company.
The Toro
Irrigation.
Company. Lighting.
Right.
Golf. Quite a large array of, how do you keep it all together?
It's fun. It's fun. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Do you need a bodyguard?
Yeah, I could use one. But honestly, first off, I want to start off by saying congratulations to you two. I don't know if you've told the audience yet about the awards you just won out here in Orlando at the IAA show. You kept it quiet? Come on, you guys got to tell the audience.
The first rule of marketing, right, is you've got to let people know.
Right. Tell the audience about the awards you guys won.
No, we appreciate that, Michael.
Well, we were recognized by the Irrigation Association, our industry trade organization, we're recognized with an Innovators Award as a result of actually this show, the Water Zone. It was started back in June of 2015 at the height of the California drought as a vehicle to really provide a platform for water purveyors and other professionals about what's going on, and that you could have a healthy, attractive landscape while you were saving water at the same time. You didn't have to, put one cactus plant. So,
and as you guys know, as Toro employees, that's the number one mission of Toro is to figure out how to keep the beautification on the landscapes, but without wasting water and how to use water more efficiently. But honestly, congratulations and well deserved. And you guys have put in a lot of hard work on this show.
No, we couldn't do it without the team at Toro.
And the support, and we heard the message loud and clear today during the general session, and that is how many ways landscapes contribute to our well-being as individuals, as communities, as a society, and so
food sources.
And so you're right, being efficient with those resources is very, very paramount.
Yep, can't live without it.
Yeah, but it's been a great week out here in Orlando. I'm sure your guests before me have told you the same, but the weather out here was phenomenal this week. I mean, I'm from California, so I'm a little lucky, but for those that came down from the northern parts, man, the weather couldn't have been any better this week, and just to be able to network all week and see the who's who in the irrigation industry and reconnect with some old friends. It's been a great week.
Yeah, and
you see much advances in technology over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like any other industry, and you wonder when your industry, whoever out there, is figuring when it's going to really take off. But I think in irrigation, you've seen connected products are the industry standard. Everybody's starting to get them in their homes, whether it's their AC system or their garage door or their doorbell. But it's becoming a norm now in the irrigation industry, too. People are wanting to connect to their controller when they're not around, or even at home to be able to walk out and check your system, but through your phone. I mean, that's where it's all at today, right?
Yeah, you see builders now putting all connected homes, and people want that. So they want simple stuff.
Well, and also I think you experience a service or a product performance, it's totally unrelated to a sprinkler system, and then you go, hey, I like that performance, I like that service. I wish that was over here in my irrigation product. And I got to put a little highlight in for Toro with Smart Logic and Smart Landscape that really kind of combines the benefits of radio communication.
The whole Smartscape.
to really increase that distance of communication between your router and the controller, and yet you still have complete control from your smartphone.
It's a step beyond Wi-Fi, but it uses the same type of logic that a home Wi-Fi would do. But to your point, it gives you some wider range. So, you can't move your router at home usually, so to get closer to your irrigation controller, so we've made it easier to reach your controller.
The RF technology.
Exactly.
And I gotta say that we recently heard about a situation in a new home development where the homes didn't have Wi-Fi, right? Because people hadn't moved in. And this reminds me of, hey, when you don't have electricity and you have electric valves, how do you turn your irrigation system on and off? And that's where battery controllers came up. But the interesting thing was that with the Toro technology and the Airtol technology, if I'm not mistaken, that that you actually are able to, on our Evolution, is program everything at your computer, load everything through a USB drive, have complete remote control capability using the handheld remote, and then when the Wi-Fi system gets installed by the homeowner, upgrade to the complete Wi-Fi. So to me, it's like, hey, it really, from the very beginning, there's an advantage that if you just have a strict Wi-Fi and you don't have this 900 megahertz capability.
But it's simple. I have a neighbor who went out, and he's well off. He went out about a beautiful entertainment center, gigantic. 70 or 80 inch TVs. Yeah, huge, right? With everything, Bluetooth, this and that, and Blu-ray, and the whole 9 yards. Then he showed me this little iPad kind of thing he had. It was $2,800 extra for him to buy this from this company, who put it all together, and they gave it to him. So, and he was real excited about it, so I came over to look at it. He knows I like audio stuff. And he's sitting there trying to figure this out for an hour and couldn't get the TV to come on, couldn't get the stereo to work. I mean, because people can get into high tech. We get into high tech, but it's bringing the science and the common sense together. It makes it simple to use, easy to use. It's intuitive, and that's what's going to make a difference. What people are going to want. You're not going to get a housewife to sit there and go through a manual for an hour and a half just to turn a station to her radio.
Or even a working person. Right? I mean, who wants to do that?
Well, and that's our job. We got to take the fear out of it for people. We've got to make it simple, to your point, Rob. And if we don't, then we've missed out on what we're trying to do. But to go back to your question about technology, what I believe is going to happen is in the next, I'm just going to throw out a number, in the next 5 to 10 years, almost every controller in the irrigation industry will be sold with Wi-Fi capability or some connected capability. Now, what percentage of people actually connect and use it for that purpose, we won't know that number, but I believe that's going to be the ante in the game at some point for all of us manufacturers, is we're going to have to include that or find a way to embed it into the controllers. And to your point, Mike, if the house doesn't have Wi-Fi yet, but later down the road, they'll tap into it. At least our controller's already ready for that, and it's capable to just be added on. So,
I think that's great. And these controllers interact or at least collect weather data so that they can adjust themselves to really try to economize on how much water is used. I mean, if it's cloudy, lower temperatures than it was in summer,
you need less water.
Exactly.
And it'll automatically do that for you, to your point. So.
Anything interesting you saw at the show?
Nothing that we weren't really expecting, honestly. Like I said, it's just the movement of the technology. It's moving fast, but it is in every industry, and so you just have to, as a manufacturer, make sure you're staying out on the leading edge of that and making sure you're coming out with those products. But at the end of the day, it's the simplicity in the products that's going to win. There's a lot of techies out there today, but there is also a lot that aren't. And,
that's right.
If we can come out with not only the best product, but the simplest to use, that's who's going to win in the game. But at the end of the day, for all of us here, and you can see that throughout the show, it's about water management. We all want to try to use water more efficiently and more effectively because there's only a limited amount of water.
And we provide us and our competitors an easy way to do that.
Exactly.
A smart way to do it.
Any comments, final comments on Toro and the IA, in terms of that
so
partnership?
Once again, we were a platinum sponsor of this year's show. We also sponsored the general session. So we continue to be a major sponsor for the IA because we understand the importance of what the IA brings back to this industry, it brings back to us as manufacturers, to the distributors, to anybody in the irrigation industry. It's what they do, out there with with legislation and the work that they put in to make sure our voice is heard, whether it's at the Senate level or at the the state, local levels. But yeah, it's important that we all continue to support this association if we're all going to be successful going forward. So Toro continues to be a major sponsor, and we will.
Great.
That's great.
Well, Dan, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you guys
for supporting.
All right.
Thanks for supporting the water zone, and we will see you back
guys.
at the office.
All right. And next we have representatives from the Irrigation Association and a new incoming president. And move some chairs around and get everybody, and we'll make the announcements of who we have. First of all, we'll name the boss, and she's the wonderful lady, so she goes first. This is Deborah Hammond.
I'm sorry, did that laugh out loud? I'm sorry.
She's the Executive Director of the Irrigation Association. Next we have Mr. John Farmer, and he handles...
Partner, but that's okay.
What did I say,
Close enough.
Farmer?
You said Farmer.
Farmer.
You know, I've been called much worse.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
We do represent agriculture too,
Yeah.
so farmers okay.
Yes. Well, I figured you get your hands dirty in that.
That's right.
You get down to the...
Believe me, they're dirty all right.
Get down to the root. Yeah, didn't we see his poster at the post office?
No, it's the police station. I'm sorry, it was the police station.
And we have next gentleman is
That's right.
is
Warren Gorowitz. It's Warren Gorowitz.
And Warren is the Vice President of Sustainability for the Ewing Irrigation, and he's also now an official.
Yeah.
So, right, you're now the official President of the Irrigation Association.
All right.
Excellent, you got a pin. So, welcome to the show. And first of all, Mike and I'll speak for both of us, and then Mike can chime in. On behalf of both of us, we're really, truly humble and thankful for the award you guys gave us. We appreciate that very, very much.
So you guys won the Irrigation Innovator Award from the
Correct.
Irrigation Association this year. It's a pretty big honor, and congratulate you guys. It's about this radio show. It's not just Mike Barron and Rob Starr won it. This radio show won it because of the innovative concepts and ideas you all have brought to the irrigation industry, and for that, you were recognized today, and it's fantastic. So
we appreciate that.
You don't have to pat yourself in the back. We can do that for you. All right.
Well deserved.
And it's the first year we gave it. too.
Yes.
You have
With the inaugural.
Personally, you are the inaugural.
You shocked me when you called me, so.
But I think people are going to have a hard time following that act.
Did they like the video?
Great. They loved the video. So, I heard really great feedback, and you guys are so deserving. You've done so many wonderful things with this radio show, and just talking about efficiency in irrigation, and we just wanted to honor you for that. Recognize your hard work.
Go ahead.
No, we've actually learned so much interviewing the various guests.
Yeah.
We feel like, wow, this has been a great experience for ourselves, let alone kind of inform others, about the importance of the irrigation industry and what it does, what it brings, because so often, the nuts and bolts of any industry are typically not known very well by end consumers and people, because we're all busy with our own things.
Sure.
So, thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we've had meteorologists, we had hydrologists, we had people, the chairman of the company who did the the largest desal plants in the thing. Then we brought a gentleman in from the Chino desalter, which is an inland empire kind of thing. Why would you desal inland? Well, there's reasons for that. We're having a company come on who does cloud seeding and things to talk about water and what they do, and it's just a whole, aside from government.
I'm surprised you didn't mention your favorite guest other than people from the IA.
Other than us.
I got me kind of offended already.
No, other than the IA, but the water train. You always bring up the water train.
I've heard about the water train.
Have you heard
I don't know.
Sorry,
No, he left it. They gave me this little wooden thing that you blow, and it sounds like a train engine. That's one reason I like it. But the second
conductor hat too?
No, I didn't give me one of those.
He already had one. Back from earlier.
But he does have an Air Patrol uniform.
Yes, I have seen.
You know what? I brought that up the first time I was on this radio show. The first time I met Rob was at Waterfront Innovations. He wore that Air Patrol uniform.
Right.
And I was like, this is the guy in the cop outfit. What's going on over here?
I got shocked if somebody got robbed and they thought I was a real policeman. I go, look at the badge. It says Toro and CBS Television. It's not a policeman and stuff. And in fact, we did a thing over with NBC on Halloween. It was called the Trunk or Treat kind of event.
I saw that on your Facebook site.
Yeah.
I follow you guys on Facebook.
Great. They had a little less than 2,000 people show up for this thing. It was incredible. And I brought the Air Patrol car. I was in the uniform all day, and people were asking me which way is the bathroom and how can it. It's kind of funny.
Happy birthday party.
Yeah. Oh, I used that for Halloween, so I didn't have to go get a uniform.
But to bring us back to the topic of water.
Boring.
So I got it. I've got questions for each one of you, but I'll just start with from left to right. So we'll start with John.
Farmer, not farmer.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. This is the left right here.
So EPA WaterSense.
Okay.
We know that has been a very important program to this industry in terms of qualifying products that are more efficient than the standard products that are available. What's going on with its efforts, given the potential for budget cuts?
Well, there's some changes at EPA going on right now. Yeah, they're doing some restructuring, and budgets is a concern throughout the federal government. Folks from WaterSense were at this show this week, and to learn more about irrigation technologies, what's in the market, hear from folks like you about how business is going, what the consumer needs are. The good news about WaterSense is that we have a new specification out for a new label for technologies that was just released a couple weeks ago for landscape sprinklers. So there's two specifications for landscape irrigation technologies. And quickly, your question about WaterSense and its future, they are funded out of what's called discretionary funding. And so if you've heard in the news about this administration's efforts to cut discretionary funding across the board, and because they're funded out of discretionary funding, there is a chance that they may be decreased or eliminated, and that chance is out there.
Reality.
So our goal as an industry is to make sure we keep showing the value of that labeling program that encourages the purchase of efficient irrigation technologies, efficient irrigation services, to ensure the consuming public, they have a way to understand, wow, that has a WaterSense label on it, I know that's going to work.
And WaterSense, EPA WaterSense has done much more than just irrigation sprinklers. They've done really...
Toilets, showerheads, faucets, urinals are all labeled. If you go to any of the retail stores, you can buy any of those that are water.
The statistic that has stayed with me is that water consumption, total water consumption in the United States peaked in 1980.
Yep.
And has been falling ever since. And that's in spite of the population increase.
Correct.
But per capita,
correct,
use of water has decreased even faster.
You're referencing a United States Geologic Service study about that, and that study references the role irrigation has played into eliminating waste.
Wow.
And a lot of that decrease in water use is because of the more efficient use of water we've made in irrigation, whether it's agriculture, landscape, turf, golf, etc. Yeah. So it's this industry that is to thank for the decrease in water use. Yeah.
And I think EPA WaterSense is playing a role in helping continue that downward trend.
That's right.
So.
I think the biggest thing that both your organization, the IA, and EPA is the education portion. I think that's crucial to our industry for professional landscapes. Even we get calls from mow and blow kind of people. We get calls from homeowners and stuff. And I'll tell you, it's real interesting. Just like Mike said, it's been a pleasure. It's been really fun learning from these other people we've had on the show about things that we never heard about, and bringing that to people. And the more people learn and understand it, we go, well, light bulb lights up, and it's not that hard to do. And especially in California, when our governor said you have to reduce water by X%, we did it. And it was because all the water agencies were very good with their education and their outreach programs and things. That made it successful. And that's one thing that you do. And maybe you want to, Deborah, speak a little about about the IA is doing and has done and
programs, because I think we're seeing more professionals in the industry become IA certified.
Sure. And that's what our goal is, to have everyone be really interested in showing the consumers that they actually know what they're doing, right? So by becoming certified, they get letters after their name. They can be an irrigation contractor, certified irrigation contractor, a certified landscape irrigation auditor, a certified irrigation designer. And all of these, and actually a certified irrigation technician is our newest certification. And in California, they demand certified individuals to be doing a lot of the jobs. So it's so important, even across the country, even where it may not be regulated or demanded by policy. It just shows that you know a little bit more than the guy that hasn't sat down and studied and taken classes and proven his competency.
Do you see the states adopting things like Texas, where you have to be certified, and registered professional. I mean,
right. Well, in Texas,
yeah.
they actually are licensed.
Right.
In North Carolina, they're licensed.
That's right.
In New Jersey, they're licensed. And in a few of those states, they actually use our certification exams. So we're really tied into that. In some cases where people are licensed, they are not as interested in pursuing the certification because their licensing separates them from the folks that aren't licensed. So we still say, it's really important. We have specialties. So you may be certified as a contractor, but you can get a specialty of a design or something, a higher level, or a water manager.
And the IA also offers online education, does it not?
We do. So we've been offering online for many, many years, and it is a great way. If you're certified, you actually need to get CEUs, continuing education units, to maintain your certifications. But it's not just for those folks. It's for anybody who wants to learn a little bit more. So you may get a job that you may not know exactly what you need to do. You can dial in and sign up for a class, and it's very accessible. I can't even remember how many classes we're up to, but we probably have about 50 classes and seminars and webinars that people can download.
And you have books for sale too, training books and educational books that people could buy.
Absolutely. The Irrigation Association publishes 19 of its own books on all different aspects of irrigation. So our mission is to be the authority on irrigation, and I think we do a pretty great job of it.
And irrigation.org.
Irrigation.org is our website.
Yeah, that's a great. Highly recommend going to that. And
can I put a pitch in for the tailgate training too?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Tailgate training. That's right.
So tailgate training is one of our newest educational tools where a supervisor.
Hot dogs.
Absolutely.
That
always draws more people when you have food and beverage and a special kind of beverage. But we call it tailgate training because we know that a lot of folks are out in the field, and a lot of times they don't train their folks except maybe on a rainy day. So this is a little laminated notebook, or you can get it for your tablet, and you can train a number of people at one time. So the company actually would buy this training and then train the contractors in the field. And it starts out really with the first components are about pipe sizing and fittings and things like that. So, you got to start somewhere and then build on.
I just thought of a great idea that we could partner with Ewing Irrigation.
Well, first,
wait, no, I got to. Well,
Mike, that's a good idea.
Well, I thought he'd talk about what Ewing is first, so our listeners would know, because it is a very good distributor, and we want you to talk about Ewing.
Sure, we are Ewing Irrigation.
By the way, this is Warren Gorwitz.
Yes, it's Warren Gorwitz.
Talking now.
It's been a long day. Ewing is the largest family-owned supplier of landscape and water management products in the country, and we have locations in 21 states. Third-generation family, actually celebrating our 95th year in business.
Wow.
And actually, I have the honor of being the fourth president from Ewing, first one outside of the ownership family. So it is an honor.
So there's a long-term commitment on behalf of Ewing Irrigation to the IA.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
And
they're great at education too.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. I think they really set the standard in the industry. Others have, offer education, but having had the opportunity to work with Ewing Irrigation, day in, day out for a number of years, their commitment and investment in their people with respect to education is second to none.
I agree. And they license some of IA products, but then they also have their own line of seminars and courses.
We have 8 full-time instructors that are teaching classes around the country.
And you have
Spanish too, as well.
And you have online.
And online.
And for me, the first time I met Warren is the first time I met Mike.
How many years ago was that?
That was
14 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Pre or post dinosaurs? I don't.
Yeah.
Were you born?
No.
But,
so what's your idea?
So my idea was that we should partner and provided when a contractor company buys a certain dollar amount of Toro product, they get credit towards any IA certification or educational program as a annual program.
That's
just
a great idea.
To work with that. So
this is being recorded and broadcast on the radio, right? So any of your ideas turn into like permanent.
But it takes some.
We just write it off our expenses.
But the organization, well, one, Toro and Ewing go back a long way, but Toro also has been very supportive and values what the IA does for the industry. So I think it's a natural one manufacturer, one distributor that both value education, would come together. So anyway, something for us to talk about later.
That's a great idea. The more people that are educated, the better the systems are going to work.
Yeah.
So what do you see as your vision going forward for the next year? And I'll put you all on.
Boy.
You've been here now for a couple of hours.
Yeah, Warren, what's up for the year, man?
The coming year.
Man.
We are on such a great trajectory right now. I just want to keep, I don't want to screw it up. But
hey, once you talk about what we're going to do with you in the next couple of months on your
we're working on some community service projects actually with Toro. We're going to do as part of our we have a partnership we've started with Audubon International, who also the Toro Foundation is a partner with as well, and we're going to be doing regional community service projects. And our first one we're going to do together in Riverside County in April of the coming year. But, as far as my vision for the association, and I talked about it at the general session today, but these guys are going to get sick of hearing me say this all year long. But it's really...
I thought it was very well put.
But it's really, it's the time now to tell our story on the value and the benefits of what we do, and I heard that from some of your previous guests today, too, and I just think that this is the time right now to do that. We really need to get a little more vocal about that and try to do it in a collaborative way with other organizations, if possible.
The idea, to start using the term, profession, as opposed to just industry. I thought that was provocative and interesting and very worthwhile thinking about.
I know.
Thank you.
I know that you went to Washington D.C. I know you go there all the time and probably never has. Why don't we all do something and have them join us in one of these things, or do some special day with them? And
when you say them.
Well, Democrats, Republicans, whatever. But I mean,
members of Congress,
people in office,
They should learn how to install a sprinkler system, don't you think?
They should.
But truthfully, they don't. A lot of them just hear the talk.
A lot of them don't know. They think that the landscape irrigation system can only be controlled with what time it is, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
right.
and that's and whether it's raining or not.
That's my point. That's my point. Get somebody and let them come for a day or probably half a day if they're lucky.
Come to the IA show?
Yeah, have them come to the IA show.
Man,
I guess you can always invite them.
Tell you what,
it's tough though.
My buddy let us come to his house so we can.
Yeah, I know. The president. This is a great idea. We've done this in states before. We've done this in Colorado. We're at a landscape irrigation technology day.
And I follow all that. I know you guys do that.
So it's something like that is a great idea to showcase what Toro's done, what Ewing is selling, what other manufacturers are producing.
Have them come to us.
Well, I think what one of the awards a Vanguard Award that really demonstrated a cooperation amongst even competitive entities, where there was manufacturers and contractors and distributors, designers, all coming together for the benefit of putting in a new sprinkler system at the
National Mall.
Just walk out to the lawn out in front of the Capitol and check that out.
And the thing is that they're using runoff from
rainwater,
storing it. What was that? 250,000
gallon
storage.
Yeah.
And what really intrigued me was how they would only refill the tank with potable water only when they ran out, and only for the amount that was discharged in the sprinkler system, so that they would have the empty storage.
If only we had that opportunity for infrastructure throughout the United States.
Yeah.
Imagine what the world would look like.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's there you go.
That's a good goal.
One national ball in every state.
Warren, get on that, man.
Hey, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
For what you will be doing.
What you do is great. You have
good partnership, and we were going to continue to.
Anything you need us to ever do for you guys, just let us know. We'd be glad to do it.
Be careful what you ask for.
That's right. Yeah, remember, he's the one that said it.
I know. Well, I know what you said too, Mr. Aaron.
And that's on the...
No,
all right.
Thanks again.
Okay,
next we have what?
Not that you need another, but if you want a little portfolio, you're welcome to take one if you want. But if it's just another thing to
I'm one of my kids.
All right, there you go. Hey, you have 2 kids, don't you?
Yeah, I do, but
Okay.
Okay.
Here you go.
Thank you. Appreciate
You
it.
don't have enough here.
Oh yeah, no. Well, oh yeah, I gotta have. No, I've got another one here. So okay.
Did you send it to Steve? Did Steve take one?
No.
Well,
There you go.
keep
We're gonna give that to
Keep
you.
one for Steve.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So.
Michael, do you know who this is? Mike, this is Mike.
Oh, hey, Mike. Good to meet you.
Mike Conan. He's with Magnation.
Okay.
And I happened to be walking around the show today, and I thought it was a pretty neat little technology that he had. And so I wanted him to come on and share it with everybody.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us, and like everyone else, congratulations on your
you.
awards this year.
Thank you.
It was great to see this morning and everything they presented for you.
Thank you.
So what do you, I know what your company does, but I'm going to let you do the talking.
Absolutely. So Magnation, what we do, we're a chemical-free, maintenance-free water softening conditioning solution. Through Magnus, we are taking water, it's bound and clustered with all the minerals, pulverizing it, separating it, and through that whole process, we're allowed then to get much better penetration into soils, hold moisture retention longer and deeper, but more importantly, we unlock those minerals in H2O to become more bioavailable, and where the plants are now able to absorb and uptake much more of the nutrients that are already in your water.
And it does physically change. I did a sample test where I had bottled, was it Fiji water, whatever
Yes.
it was, and we poured it in 1 cup and left that. Then they took the other one and poured it through one of these devices, and I tasted the difference in it.
Really?
Yeah, and
So it doesn't. Now I thought I heard you use the word pulverize.
Well, the
magnetics.
magnetics, the way we put together the units, the magnetics allow us to take those clusters with all the water and all the minerals, separate them, put a charge to them, essentially line them up, so now everything becomes much more bioavailable.
Oh.
We're able to kind of maximize your water efficiency. In doing so, we see reduction in irrigation, about 20%. There's lots of golf courses around the country that use this. One in particular saves 2.4 million gallons a month in irrigation. Because of getting into that soil, holding that moisture longer and deeper, root structure is able to grow deeper, get in there better, uniform turf.
Really, if so what you're saying is with the water conditioned, that it actually, you have less of that. It seems like water sometimes lays on the
Like you're
surface.
reducing the friction a little bit of the water when you
reduce
pulp it.
ponding, surface runoff, evaporation, penetration.
So I'm holding in my hand, for the radio audience, a inlet, 1-inch inlet, 1-inch female pipe fed inlet, and 1-inch male pipe fed outlet. This would go in line after your valve.
Yeah, typically we go post pump.
Okay.
You usually want to treat the water right at
Right
the beginning
from the
of the source,
Okay.
right coming in, because you're going to want to have that good water throughout your whole system.
And so really there's not any major pressure drop, because there's nothing. I'm looking inside and I see a straight through unobstructed path
Correct.
through the device.
So actually what happens is once it goes through there, we do have it rifled for vortexing, and once it goes through, it becomes less viscous.
Now that's with that stainless steel device
Yes.
you showed me? Yeah.
Yes. So then what's happening, it's actually increase and give you a little bit pressure, better pressure, better flow.
Could this be used also, do you see it be used on residential systems?
Oh, absolutely. We started actually 10 years ago in California working with farmers. And from that point, we saw the value pretty much with anyone that uses water. In the homes, a homeowner would put something like this in. It will help with all the scale buildup that is already currently in the pipes, even on the irrigation side. It will help with the efficiency of water heaters, dishwashers.
Yeah, because I know oftentimes there's lime buildup or,
Calcium.
calcium buildup inside the...
Correct.
I know those new water type heaters that they have, I know they clog.
The fast acting.
Norwich, the tankless ones, they clog up so fast because of the calcium buildup.
Absolutely.
And so this
we see this.
solve that?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, wow.
We work with several major league clubs, without naming them, Calcium has been a big issue, especially in the Colorado area, and we see a dramatic difference when you apply our unit at the beginning of your source to the point where you don't have that calcification, you're not getting the water spots, you're not having the staining, or even with the iron, people will see.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, especially in Florida, there's you see that rust on the fence or the walls. So you're saying that iron gets affected by the product.
All the minerals will get affected. Iron in particular will be affected.
So does it get rid of the coloration?
Yes.
It does.
Coloring,
Okay.
the coloration.
So that iron now goes into the soil.
And becomes a nutrient, a mineral available for the plant to absorb and uptake.
So in your ag applications, have you had farmers ever report that they can use less fertilizer, or what? Besides saving water, was there any other
absolutely
benefit?
So on the ag side, we see a reduction in irrigation, like we see across the board. We also saw though farmers, in particular in California, where we first started, were seeing more yield, and we would see this now constantly. And we have over 20,000 units around the world, and we
really that many? Wow!
Get reports back. Basically, they're using less water, and they're being able to get more yield out of it.
So I'm thinking, right off the top of my head, drip line tubing. Where the drip emitters, you always see that white build up, and all of a sudden the emitters can become clogged, and then you have to, run some weak acid through there to dissolve the calcium buildup. So this could also work well with to prevent that calcium buildup on the drip.
Oh, absolutely. And we see it too. I mean, we work with water, and we could be with agriculture, sports and turf. We work with livestock, humans. So when we see drip lines, calcification, the clogging, put our units on, and the efficiency comes right back through. Now you're able to have even pressure all the way through. Emitters aren't getting clogged. And that's just time consuming.
Now these come in various sizes, as we were talking
Correct.
about. I don't know if you can discuss the technology of the magnet.
Well, we got to keep some of the good information in-house here, but there is plenty of research and studies done on magnetized water. NASA's spent a long time.
It does create a little bit of heat difference noticeable. It's not. It's measurable. It's not gigantically noticeable.
Correct.
Might add 1 or 2 degrees to the temperature. They also did a demonstration with juices and things where it takes the tardiness or the tannin taste away from that. That's pretty interesting.
What's your smallest size?
We have a 1/4 inch.
Oh, really?
For drip line.
And 3/4 inches as well?
Absolutely. We go up to 16 inch in stock, and then we work with municipalities as well with larger units.
In the irrigation industry, do you sell through distribution or do you sell online?
A little bit of both right now.
Okay.
As we grow, we have some distributors, and we also have our own in-house accounts.
So someone who's listening says, I have that calcium buildup on my drip emitters and my drip line. I'd like to give one of these things a try. What's the recommendation? Should they go to your website or? Yeah,
that would probably be the best way to go. Go to the website, which is rainlikewater.com.
Rainlikewater.
Rainlikewater.com. It's like having rain at the flip of the switch.
Can you tell an estimate of the pricing of what they sell for?
So for a homeowner, from a 3/4 inch to a 1 inch, it could vary anywhere from as low as $260 up to upwards towards $500-600. Just kind of depending on the material and the size, the length of it. If it's just for the backyard versus are we going to handle the whole house and the irrigation?
So you want to know kind of what the weekly flows are? I mean, how much water is going to go through this device?
Not necessarily how much water is going to go through this device. At this level, we know that our units can handle any 1 inch pipe and pressures could get thrown at. As we start to get into the bigger units, the 8-inch units for a pivot out in Nebraska or the golf courses, then we need to know a little bit better about the pressure and the flow. All our units are rated, and all the technical background info is listed on the site.
So for on a residential drip system, you might be looking at 3 gallons a minute, for half an hour, 3 times a week kind of thing. So your basic 3/4 inch unit would be fine.
Yeah, and we also make them where they screw right into a garden house.
Oh, really?
For the folks that don't have an actual irrigation system and still like to do the hand watering.
Calibrated thumb.
There you go, calibrated thumb.
Well,
when you go and the sprinkler hits that window and you get the white spots, or you got the paint staining on the white fence from the iron.
Yeah.
These are all issues that our units will help mitigate.
Well, rainlikewater.com.
Yeah.
That is pretty innovative. It seems that this 1 inch is very compact, and so, gosh, I'm going to be checking it out.
Yeah.
Just
we appreciate
that's why I stopped by. So anyway, I will be calling you about some other things that we talked about,
Absolutely.
and I appreciate that. So thank you very much for being on the show.
Time.
Mike, thank you very much. Appreciate
you.
it. All right. Can we keep your brochure? All right. Super. Thank you.
Great. You have a good trip back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, where's your company headquartered?
We're
Compton.
almost.
Oh.
Okay.
Oakland.
Oh, sorry, I was
Okay.
reading the wrong card.
Next guy, he's Compton.
That's
We're
right.
in Oakland.
All right.
We're
very
all
good.
out here in Florida, California boys talking.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Mike.
so much.
Take care.
How are you going?
Doing excellent.
I'll come right here. Sit next.
Jockey Zeppelin right over there.
Okay. Next, we have one of our great sponsors from Weldon, Mr. Ellis Mills. He's the Vice President of Domestic Sales. And I have to tell you, we're very happy to have a sort of a radio partnership with your company, and we're enamored with your president and all your people that you got. You're a great company. You make great products, and I personally use your stuff. I know Mike does, and you're pretty innovative. And but again, for our I know we had Mike Grabowski on our show the other day and talking about a class that he was teaching for us. But maybe you can give us a little history about Weldon and such.
Yeah, Mike unfortunately got sick, so I'm your last-minute replacement.
Oh, that's okay.
And I have the pleasure, I'm 77 years old, and I retire in 6 weeks, so I've been in the cement business for a long time, and fortunately have been with Weldon. Weldon is the originator of solvent cements. We invented the product, and I think we still make the best in the world, but I made my first PVC joint personally when I was 18 years old in 1958.
Wow. I remember, the thing I remember about in the early 60s was that movie, The Graduate, and that one word was plastics.
Yeah,
you were there.
Absolutely. I saw these movies the first time around.
Yeah.
But IPS Corporation was started back, I believe, in the late 50s, and by two brothers, Al and Jack Silverman. They were headquartered down in what is now Compton, I take that back, Gardena, California. The company is now headquartered in Compton. They have a very large modern warehouse facility and office space. And from the old days, the product itself has come along to the point where the original systems were ABS, mostly for plumbing. Then it got into PVC, CPVC, and today into the very modern circumstances of all types of thermoplastics.
Right.
And we solvent weld up to and including 54-inch pipe in many cases.
Oh, my gosh.
And we were amazed. Mike brought some tools to show us that I'd never seen before. And I was,
But 54, how do you put glue, I'm sorry, not glue, how do you put the cement, you do it in...
It's tricky. Well, what happens, these people, when you get into a certain size range, it's not economical to make a mold, let's say beyond 60 an inch. So they make the other products out of cut and formed pipe, but these do not have the tolerances that a molded fitting has, and they have a large gap, which we are able to give them a product that is almost like molasses.
Fills the gap.
Fills the gap, does the trick. It's very strong and welds the product at the same time. As you said, it's not a glue. Everybody calls it that. We like to do that too. But it is a solvent weld. It's chemical fusion.
So that's, I never knew until folks from Weldon explained how to properly solvent weld, how to apply the solvent, why you use primer.
Remember the catch term he told us?
I just remembered that you don't use purple primer to clean the pipe. I just remember that's not the purpose. I always thought, that gets all the junk off there, because then you put that junk right into your
Or
can.
you're putting the solvent and cement on, and then your wife says something to you. Yeah, okay, and you go to put the pipe together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's too late.
You know, it's a really interesting industry, though, because nobody talks about cementing pipe together. We do a tremendous amount of training, not only for irrigation, but for industrial, plumbing, pool and spa applications. And we find that we get a heads up because we not only make a good product, we can teach them how to use it properly. And by properly, what I mean is the difference between a cleaner and a primer, for example. The difference in why one cement is very thick, another one is very thin. What makes a difference, for example, between a heavy body cement and a regular body cement. And people that kind of initially are resistant almost to our to our training programs, once we do one, if they get a taste of it, it's like you guys are the best, and we learn things we had no idea we would learn.
Yeah.
That's what we got the other day when Mike was on the show.
I feel that way for sure. Now, recently, Weldon has introduced a new product.
We do.
That I think was very interesting for contractors in a consuming problem. That was really environmentally more friendly. Could you tell us about that?
I sure can. This is called 905 Eco. And you excuse my sticky lips. I have taken some medication and so forth, so I'm like a guppy.
No problem.
But 905 Eco, and particularly as far back as I go with the product, is a revolutionary new product. When we talk about solvent welding, we're talking about a chemical weld where the primer penetrates into the surface of the pipe and fitting so they can fuse together properly. Most of the fittings we use nowadays are interference fit, which means that we have a slight taper from the beginning of the socket area to the bottom of the socket. And if you prime and cement it properly, when you insert the pipe, it's all the way down, it will fuse on the bottom and become one piece of plastic. There is no more two pieces. It can't leak and it can't come apart. This product right here, first of all, has about 30% less of the aggressive chemicals. So it's safer. I need to get a little water, excuse me.
Sure, you bet.
We got about 45 seconds left.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll talk dry. I left my water over there.
Oh, now, do you want me to get it for you?
That'd be fantastic. I apologize.
No apologies needed.
But this product is it's safer. It is actually a stronger bonding cement, and it doesn't rely on the thank you. It doesn't rely on the penetration having to get deep within the pipe. It gets a good bond without that requirement for the deep penetration. Because, you know, when you have weather conditions, cold weather, for example, makes it very difficult to solvent weld. Hot conditions make it totally different because you apply the product and boom, it flashes into the atmosphere.
Where can people buy this?
They can buy this at any good distributor.
Okay.
You can buy it at
Ewing or
Ewing, Site
One?
Smith Pipe in Los Angeles. Who else am I thinking here?
Aquaflow.
Just about everybody carries Weldon.
Yep. It's what was the original?
And what's the
It's
website?
the original plastic cement.
And what's the website?
Website's www.ipscorp.com.
Excellent.
We also have an app. You're welcome to download that.
Okay.
Oh, I'll get to do that. Well, thank you so much, and I want to salute you for your contribution to the industry. And,
yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I hope I can be as good in terms of selling my product when I'm 77. That's great.
Well, I have Parkinson's. I've had it for 10 years, so sometimes medication causes the old lips to stick, so I apologize.
Oh, no, everything was perfect.
No, I got to say,
I love to talk about it, so I can talk
I know, it's
we'll have you back on the show, too, next time.
That'd be great. Normally, this is not an issue. Medication just wore off a little bit.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Say hi to Fabio for us.
I'll do that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Well, thanks, everybody, for listening in, and we're live again from Orlando, Florida, at the Rosen Center at the Irrigation Association. And anyway, everybody have a good week. We'll be back live next week. So remember, think blue, because
on Spaceship Earth, we are all crew.
Good night, everybody.
tuned in to KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Hey Ryan, do we have any beer in the fridge?
Nah, I thought you got some.
The game starts in 5 minutes.
And you drank the last beer at midnight on Friday.
I wish there was a place that delivered beer.
Yes, I'm Captain Crafted. I'm here to bring you beer. That's Captain, C-R-A-F-T''D. Why? Because there's no E, just a D, as in deliver, because Captain Crafted delivers.
That's right, the Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business with great prices and deliveries of your favorite beer, wine, spirits, water, ice, and mixers. Did I mention their great prices? That's CRAFTDBEER store.com or Fred Crafted Beer Store on Facebook.com. Make it easy. Google Redlands Beer Delivery. Look for Crafted Beer.
Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business, and I'm here to deliver.
Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, your company is going to thrive with digital network advertising. Choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your business ad or logo is rotated multiple times an hour inside local businesses where people will discover your company. Digital network advertising. DNA, a novel way to be seen and remembered. Digital network advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call in the 909 area 222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293 for digital network advertising. One last time, digital network advertising, 909-222-9293.
Look around your office. Is it time to change things up? Start a new home office or reorganize your professional office space? Visit Office Furniture Outlet in Corona and you'll feel great. With a huge inventory of both new and pre-owned office furniture, you can buy, sell, or even trade to get the job done. Office Furniture Outlet in Corona will get you looking and feeling good, and that simply means success and great business results. From executive office collections to home office options, you can find exactly what you need at an affordable price. Office Furniture Outlet. They have desk selections that range from modern and contemporary to traditional and elegant. With a large selection of sizes, finishes, and styles, you can design an office just the way you need it. An office you can be proud of. The Office Furniture Outlet in Corona is just south of the 91 freeway in McKinley at 284 DuPont Street, or visit OFOUSA.com. That's OFOUSA.com for the Office Furniture Outlet in Corona today.
This segment is sponsored by Realtor Tammy Sutherland of Yucaipa and Realty World Premier, where she makes it her business to put happy people in happy homes. Here's what people are saying day after day.
Tammy did way more than we ever expected in a real estate agent. Without Tammy, we would still be renting.
I didn't think we'd ever find a house we loved, but with Tammy's help, we did. Now I get to mow the lawn every weekend. But then again, that's why we had kids. Brandon!
She made so much extra effort to sell our house and make sure that we understood every step of the way. Tammy always had our best interests at heart. I would highly recommend her.
So, if you want your perfect house, you can find Tammy Sutherland at Realty World Premier. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, it's homesbytammy.net or on Facebook at facebook.com/Realtor Tammy Sutherland. You can also reach her by phone at 909-556-2094. That's 909-556-2094.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5, 102.3 FM.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California with UBN Radio TV, Universal Broadcasting Network. And then every Thursday at 7, Saturday at 1 on my syndicated CNBC NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and everywhere on iHeartRadio. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian talk at all, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So we have topics and guests to that end. And if you missed it live, last month we marked Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month with Fran Drescher and Charlotte Ray from Facts of Life. So if you missed that show, as well as just an amazing interviews with Melissa Etheridge and Olympic gold medalist Shannon Miller, all cancer thrivers. Charlotte Ray as well, on her third round, 91 years young. My youngest guest so far. Yes, sarcasm is another service I offer. But if you missed that show live, please go to my YouTube channel, pull it up, as well as the red carpet interviews with all of them from the Jump, Jive, and Thrive CBS event, as well as Fran Drescher's fabulous Health Summit, which I got to attend as a VIP and got a nice hug of thanks from her. And, there's just so much going on as far as solution. And that's what we're focused on this show. Continuing this month's focus on solutions on the planet, highlighting more good news. Last week we talked about malaria and the cure for malaria. And before that, sexual healing with women in the prison system with Dr. Davina Katulski. And then, as I mentioned before that, with Fran Drescher and healing from cancer. So this week, we have another fabulous guest talking about solutions. And she is Heshi Siegel, speaker, best-selling author, coach, consultant, trainer, and children's advocate. She's the founder of Kids Better World, Inc. Her mission is to counteract the deaths of 5,000 children per day as a result of drinking contaminated water. Through her global campaign, Purity for Humanity, she's committed to delivering 1 million purity water systems to these children by December 31st, 2020. Heshi has now been featured twice in Inc. magazine. Please welcome warmly to the studio, Heshi Siegel, my friend, as well as a wonderful human being doing wonderful things on the planet. Hi, Heshi.
Hi, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And I pulled you away from a conference that's happening at LAX because she normally lives in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So while she's here, I pulled her away to tape this little segment so we get you in person. I'm going to start with what makes you tick. So I have a friend, she doesn't have an answering machine. She has a questioning machine. And when you call her, it says, "Who are you and what do you want?" So Heshi Siegel, who are you and what do you want?
I want to live. I want to live out loud. I want to help people in the world, help myself too. I didn't have such a great background, so I don't want that to happen for other kids. So for me, living in support of children, women, it's like really a big cause for me, and it's what makes me tick.
Beautiful, beautiful. And tick you do. You're doing amazing things. You go to Africa how often?
Usually once a year. This year twice, but once a year.
And what do you do in Africa?
Well, we always do a safari first, which is awesome because I love taking pictures of animals. And then when my husband, Werner Berger, the Guinness Book of Record holder for being the oldest person in the world to climb the highest peak on all 7 continents, including Everest, he leads a team up the mountain, and I stay behind by choice to take care of the children. I bring them food I usually buy there, but clothing, school supplies, medical supplies, and my water bottles, which is my big thing, providing clean, pure water for children around the earth.
Yeah, which is amazing. And you have the bottle in front of you,
I
which
do.
is this. And my daughter's been anxiously waiting for this bottle.
I understand that.
She got to talk to her on the phone in the car, and it's an amazing system. It also, helps with recycling, getting rid of all that plastic, and it filters what?
Well, let me just start with the plastic. We're now eating plastic in our food if we're eating from the ocean, because all the little things that do not recycle are going into our bodies, and we can't have that. So each of these little filters, and they're really small, replaces about 454 plastic bottles.
Wow.
Which is awesome. So instead of littering the earth, we get a chance to actually save the earth and drink safely, because you ask what it takes out. Well, I'm not a statistician. I'm really a heart person, but it takes out 99.9999.
Wow.
Each 0.9 is very, very important.
Yes.
Percent of bacteria, protozoa, giardia, chlorine, heavy metals, all the things that from the drugs that get washed out of our system and into the world. It makes me feel clean. The chlorine. I go places around the world, and there's so much chlorine in the world. When I drink from this bottle, I don't have any chlorine. And if I have to drink chlorine in a food, I immediately know that it's there.
Right.
I one time I spit out. It was awful. I spit out an entire mouthful of minestrone soup all over the table.
Because you could taste the chlorine.
I could taste the chlorine.
Wow.
I couldn't handle it.
Yeah. So so on one hand, for all of us here in America, this is a solution to bottled water, which in theory sounds good, but it really is harming us with all the plastic. So it's a solution for that. But most importantly, and your mission is, what is it? 5,000 kids die every day.
Every day.
Every day. Every 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Someone dies in Africa from contaminated water, and that is not okay.
It is. It's really not okay. When you think about it, it's not just that a child dies. Every child, at least in my opinion, is a global child. So what if Oprah, or the Asian Oprah, had died at 3 years old from drinking contaminated water? Einstein, Martin Luther King. When you think about these things, it's crushing, because that child who died could have been the next genius, the next person to have developed a vaccine for a disease that we would get. So it's the global child. It's not just that a child dies.
Right.
A child who could be saving the world is dying.
And it's an epidemic, just like malaria is an epidemic. But it is something that really, I've heard that statistic that there's enough food on the planet that no child has to go starving. There's enough technology to make sure that the children don't die from unpure water. So you've kind of taken this on as your one woman, and you've it's not just one woman. I don't know anyone like Heshi who can mobilize and get people to understand, and then, willingness without action is a fantasy. So there's a very easy way that me on this show, I'm always offering you ways that you can help others and help yourself feel better about your role in life. And so this is no exception to that rule. But the great thing is the price point is so low that
It is.
you can actually do something with the money that you save from, what, 5 Starbucks? Something like that. So tell people what you can do. So you have this product, right? And you actually work with the designers of the product.
I do.
Okay. And so tell us about that. How did that all happen?
Well, we were speaking at an event, and my husband Werner was on stage, and they brought out this huge purification system, and they threw milk and soda and fountain water and, pardon me, urine and chlorine and dirt from outside, whatever it was. They put it through this thing, and this crystal clear water came out.
Wow.
And he handed me a cup, and he said, drink it. And I went, no, I don't think so. But
Right.
he said, if you want to sell this bottle, you're going to have to drink it.
Yeah.
So I drank it, and the tears started rolling down my eyes because I realized, oh my gosh, children don't have to die any longer. And it's not that I don't care about you and me and every adult and every person out there, but you know, if we lose what we have as a child, we're really taking away from the earth. And so I just started talking about it. I'm known as the purity lady. I mean, no matter where I go, oh, here she comes, the purity lady, because I look at people like they just don't get that they don't have to destroy the earth, that drinking from this bottle saves, it just saves everything. It's like 1/5 the cost of plastic bottled water.
Right. I'm
So,
looking forward to that.
yeah,
The Chinese
it's
in me is
amazing.
looking forward to that for sure. So you have so you can buy the bottles, and then every 2 that you buy, 1 goes to a child in Africa.
Well, it's not just Africa now, because we've got, well, the climate change. I won't get into all of that, but you know, we've had a couple of hurricanes, and Maria has just really wiped out Puerto Rico. So we're sending things every day. People are
Beautiful.
buying the bottles. The fire victims in Santa Monica, and not just Santa Monica, but you know, Northern California, we have to take care of everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. So where there's a need, then I want there to be a bottle to go there.
Beautiful. So it's not just Africa, especially timely now. Puerto Rico, fire victims, anywhere that there's a need for pure water.
Yeah, and I actually, unless I have a messenger that I know, I take the bottles with me, because my first trip to Africa, not all the bottles got to where they were supposed to go, even though I gave them to someone I thought would take care of them.
Okay.
So I actually put them in the hands of children. So on December 31st of 2020, which you mentioned earlier, I want to be in that last swoop of the 1 million bottles to be distributed, and all of us going as ambassadors will be able to hand a child a bottle that will save their life.
I want to be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
you just have to choose the continent you want to be on.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I like that kind of choice.
It's a great choice, and anybody can choose anywhere. It's going to be a day of service welcoming in the next decade.
I'm so grateful. Because of the show and because of the platform I have, I'm now going to be part of, do you know AJ, Dr. AJ?
I do.
Yeah, he's doing Feed a Billion by September 20, I think, 2020.
He has
Feed
the
a
bottles.
Billion. He has the bottles
Yeah,
too?
he did not want to wait 1 second. He got those bottles immediately. And we're going to
Fabulous.
figure out a way to work together.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
It will.
Food and clean water. That is just amazing. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who I get to talk to today, another fabulous solutions guest. Her name is Heshi Siegel. She's a friend of mine I met at CEO Space International, and she is here talking about a solution for the 5,000 children who die every single day, the child and the adult that dies from impure water every single 4 seconds, as well as a way now to support anyone who is impacted by Mother Nature on a bad day, the people in Puerto Rico, as well as fire and flood victims. And isn't it wonderful that I get to balance out all of the negative news out there with some positive, solution-oriented, and you yes, I'm talking to you, that I'm looking at can make a huge difference by getting involved with this particular effort. So how do we find you, and how do they get to that, the water bottle?
Well, I'm all over social media.
Okay.
But if they go to my website, kidsbetterworld.com, I've changed it in recent years. It used to be about character education and turning out a child that would be part of the world, and just giving in the world instead of some, unfortunately, have to take. But then when the water started, I changed my focus, and right now it's really making sure that every child has clean water. So if they go to my website, they can just go to kidsbetterworld.com. They can donate. They can buy their own bottles. They can contact me directly and say, I want to gift bottles. The goal is really, I'd like to be able to do about 1,000 sets each month. That means that they each get 2 bottles, or however many they order, but for multiples of 2, if we get 1,000, it means 1,000 free bottles go to the children.
That's the ticket right there.
Yes.
I mean, you really are, and each bottle is how much?
Well, it's $114 retail.
Okay, so $114 for a bottle, and if you buy 2 bottles, then one goes to the child in Africa.
And if someone
or
wants
wherever.
to buy a quantity, they can contact me directly through Kids Better World and just say, this is what I want to do. So if it's 2 bottles or it's more, the best thing is just to reach me through the website or Heshy Siegel at kidsbetterworld.com. That works.
Wouldn't it be great if you're a company right now and you're looking for a holiday gift to give your employees to reward them for anything, instead of something with the name of your company printed on it, or a little trophy that sits, I don't know where, as a coffee. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have, I'm going to steal yours for a second, these all over your office to show not only that you care about the environment, but that you care about children and adults everywhere who do not have pure water. I think that would be an awesome gift for all of your employees. So I'm talking to the business owners right now to contact Heshy at kidsbetterworld.com, because that would be an awesome thing to do. And if you do that, please do contact me, and I will highlight your company, your product and service, and gift you a 30-second commercial, which is retail for me $1,000. So you'll get that, and it'll play at all my stations. How's that for linking on the My Asian Oprah giveaway for your wonderful contribution?
That sounds wonderful. I think that maybe not everyone realizes how good you are at helping people create a commercial. You did that for me, and it was like, whoa, the words just flowed out from you, and I've been using it.
Yay!
So it was with your help. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually had her record her testimonial that I haven't played yet. I really do need to play it, though, because
I think that would be a good idea.
Because I love branding. I love helping people with the branding, and I got an opportunity to do that. And actually, a peace shout out to Bernie, the founder of CEO Space, and I will have to play that video too when the show comes out. Because I told him that in 4.5 years you'd never heard a snap that you liked as much as mine.
That's absolutely true.
And when I told him, he got down on the carpet and started saying, Dr. Rissa. So that's I could probably make money on that little video.
Oh, yes.
But yes, it's been a wonderful friendship and affiliation. Your husband came on earlier this year.
Yes.
Earlier this year, Guinness World Book record, going for his 2nd one, being the oldest person to climb all 7 summits, including Everest.
Everybody
Yeah.
should look as good as him. He turned 80 on July 16th on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, the continent where he was born. And I think it's been 7 trips up.
Yeah,
but that's where he wanted to be.
That's amazing. Was there reception that you could wish him a happy birthday, or no? He was up there with climbers.
I did what I could, and he he listened to it later. But there were a lot of people singing to him because I have this overly enthusiastic mouth, and so I just said to everybody, just call and leave a message, sing happy birthday to him.
Oh,
so
that's
and
great.
a lot of children did.
Oh,
because I asked them, and they were just delighted.
That's super wonderful.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the benefits of meeting Heshi and Werner, not just having them on as special guests on my show, they do a kick artichoke. FCC fines me for bad words, but on the other channel. But a kick artichoke birthday message is the cutest thing.
Right. We love doing that.
Yeah, it's so funny. They have like this whole one-act play that happens on the phone to celebrate your special day. So, but I'm just so blessed. And so again, kidsworld.com.
Kids Better World.
Sorry. Kids Better, thank you. kidsbetterworld.com, and you too can be part of this worldwide effort to provide 1 million purities for children in Africa for this particular, or anywhere,
all
anywhere,
over the
all
world
over the
for
world,
this one.
all over the world for this one, and make sure that no one else dies from unpure water. Kidsbetterworld.com. So I think it's about that time where I thank the sponsor of today's episode, and that is with the commercial we've just been talking about. So we'll be back in 2 and 2. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and another child dies. Yes, every 4 seconds, someone dies from drinking contaminated water, and that's the bad news. The good news is that the Purity filtration system provides clean, fresh, and safe drinking water, and for every 2 water bottles sold, 1 is shipped to a child in need. Contact Heshi Siegel at kidsbetterworld.com for this win-win-win, life-giving answer to contaminated water today. Are back. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called, what is it called? Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at Naturally High Noon here out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California with UBN Radio TV, Universal Broadcasting Network, and every Thursday at 7, Saturday at 1 on my syndicated CNBC, NBC News Radio channel featuring Dave Ramsey and Stephanie Miller, among others. And that is on AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and anytime, anywhere on iHeartRadio. So today we are continuing with our theme around solutions that we've been doing all month in October and November. And today's special guest is Heshi Siegel. She is the founder of kidsbetterworld.com, and she has aligned herself with helping children all around the planet and adults who they don't have to die with clean water. Welcome back, Heshi, to the show. And before, I kind of want to know, you mentioned a little bit about your not having a great childhood and that being your impetus to doing what you do for children. And I really wanted to highlight that because, a lot of my listeners will say, I didn't get not necessarily my listeners, but people that I overhear all the time. It's like, I didn't have a great childhood. We talked about this on the way up. I didn't have a healthy home. I didn't grow up with, Aussie kind of Leave It to Beaver home. And we were talking about this, and, it's really important that everybody understands that most people did not have healthy homes. And the belief system, the BS, that somehow there's something wrong with you, or that you'll never catch up, or that you will never, be normal has got to be smashed, because the reality is the majority of us don't grow up like that. So what do? We spend the rest of our lives feeling either sorry for ourselves or trying to play catch up with those who you think had a healthy childhood. So one of the statistics I'd like everybody to know is that, amongst the people who are making a difference on the planet, most of them came from dysfunctional homes. So Heshi and I've shared about my own, painful past. Most of us who've had painful pasts are equipped with a special gift, talent, and ability to rise up out of our ashes. I call it the Phoenix factor. So we are particularly blessed with a muscle that says, I want to make my life about making a difference so that people do not have to go through what we went through. And for that, I want to give you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Thank you.
Surprised you.
I love that. Yes.
Surprise you.
Yes.
And it's not easy to surprise Heshi. I really did, because it is so important for all of us to take what the shiitake was in our past and dig it out and take a good look at it and put it through the purification system and then use it as fertilizer to grow healthy children. And that's what you're doing. And I think that is absolutely awesome.
I've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah. And I think a part of it, we do it because we want to help, but doesn't it bring you joy? Like, doesn't it make you feel good when you put this in the bottle of a child in Africa when you go on those trips? Is there not an indescribable feeling that comes from making a difference?
There's something that makes your heart actually start pounding. Because it's not just that you can give it to them. The look on their face is really indescribable. I do have to have a translator, so depending on where I'm doing the bottles. But when I go to Africa, Kibello is someone who's been a guide for me. It has actually become family for me now. He'll translate how to use the bottle. I'll say it, and then he'll translate. The older kids do understand some English, but it's just the idea that they're going to have it. And then when I come back on subsequent trips, for them to whip out their bottles is really great, and have them say, oh, I take this everywhere.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's been important to also include an element of, I need to teach them how to do something to raise money for themselves to buy additional filters when they're not always going to be donated. So each year I do something. Last year we did tie-dyeing T-shirts. We took a sheet off of the bed, and every child that I was working with in that orphanage got to do a little bit of the tie-dyeing, and then we just auction it off. And this next trip we're going to do jewelry.
Oh, that's so
and
awesome.
the boys like it as much as the girls, believe it or not.
That's great.
That is awesome.
That is
I
so
do want
great.
to add one thing. When it's like when I go to these countries, I have been buying myself until recently when I started asking for donations because I thought I could do it all myself. Oh, what a silly, what a lie that was, telling myself. But because I grew up with having only hand-me-downs, I absolutely said that every child gets at least one new piece of clothing, even though people will give me hand-me-downs now to give the children. And so actually when anyone goes to my site, they'll see it. The children left the price tags on the clothing because they didn't know what they were, and they thought they were like little ornaments.
Oh, how funny.
It was so shocking. It's like, I'm ready to take the tags off. And they're
Right.
going,
No, don't. Oh, wow. What we take for granted here is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, that's beautiful. Have you learned any African dialect?
I have, and each time I go back, I have to do it. Oh, but this is so funny because it's what everybody can do. when the kids and the older kids really have become family, because I've been going
Yep.
every year since 2010, they
7
would
years.
stand around and talk, and I'd go, build up, and they'd look at me, and then they'd start talking, and then I'd, and finally they burst out laughing, realizing that they couldn't understand what I was saying, and I was trying to tell them that they had to speak English in what they could use, and I'd try my Swahili because I just made it up. And every time they get lost in their conversation, I would go, and they would stop, and I became a signal. And it's so much fun to work with kids where you don't have the same language,
Right.
because you have to figure out a way to communicate.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Have you learned any Swahili? How do you say hello?
Don't ask me.
Oh.
Jumbo.
Okay, good. Jumbo. And then thank you?
Karibu.
Karibu. So you do know some.
Well, yeah, but I have to go over my notes before I go back, because that's how I eat sometimes, is I have to learn the words, and they teach me the words. They're just, and one of the places where we stay has just become my other home, and the kids take care of me. On my last trip,
So that just went on my bathtub list. No, I don't have a bucket list. It's too small. So on my bathtub list, I'm going to put a trip with you.
Yes.
To go, and maybe I can get my daughters to go too.
That would be wonderful. Kids love it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
it
sure.
is a life-changing experience.
I'm sure. Okay, so that's my new bathtub list entry. So tell me about the ambassador program. We have a little time left.
Okay. Someone said to me, you cannot have a movement unless you pay a lot of money to advertise. Well, when my father died when I was 16, and I was told I couldn't do something, I went, watch me.
I got that.
So I'm looking for 101 ambassadors who actually will become part of the campaign. Each of them buy 2 bottles, so a child gets 1 free. They reach out to 10 people who buy 2 bottles, and they get 1 free. And they reach out to 10. So to the power of 4, with 101 ambassadors, I will have 1,040,000 bottles for the children, free.
Okay.
Now, that's pretty amazing. And then I have people who want to actually earn money to go with me on the trips. And so I teach them how to make money through the water bottle.
Okay.
So
it's a business.
It is a business. I just happen to give 100% back to the children. But I want people, especially kids, to earn the money to go on and to tell people that they're earning money so that they too can go and hand out the bottles. Because if we teach our kids to be entrepreneurs when they're young, they don't have to. They don't. They'll have choices to make, and that's a solution for a future business as well.
Yeah, that sounds
make a difference.
Really
make
good.
money, make a difference.
Yeah, make money, make a difference. I like that. That. We'll have to call Sarah on the way back, because she started her own club at high school called the Soup Kitchen. So I'm wondering if that group wouldn't be a natural fall in.
It would
for the ambassador,
and I'll
program.
mentor them.
That sounds good. That sounds awesome. Yay! Okay, solutions on the Solution Show. So, anything else you wanted to share about that we haven't covered? I know that you are absolutely.
I want people to follow me and what I do, and to reach into their own hearts and do it with me, because even though I thought I could do it by myself, I can't.
Right.
I really.
And it's more fun when you do it with people.
It is. And I've developed fabulous relationships, and I'm really very accessible. Connect with me on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. I've got a fabulous site where I have over 1.5 million followers. People can go into Facebook and go to So Share This. It's all about positive, upbeat news, little stories, everything. Instead of watching the news, go to So Share This and spend time there every day, and you'll feel really good.
There you go. So Share This on Facebook. I'm going to be on there. Getting highlighted at some point.
I sure hope so.
But yeah, so many ways to support Heshie Segal, Heshie, Segal, Segal. So find her. She's probably one of the youngest active social media people, representative that you can do anything at any age. She uses oil of Olay, but she is part of my wisdom team that I absolutely adore and is mentoring me as well. So Heshy Siegel, the last question I always ask people on the show is, who would you like to thank or appreciate that has been support to you in allowing you to do what you do?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, because ever since I've met you, I went, oh, wow, she's awesome.
Oh, she actually is to blame. I'm new faculty on CEO, and I did a session, and she loved it and told them that I had to do a keynote. So thanks to her, I did a keynote last time. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'd actually like to thank my life coach. Her name is Laura Zabo Cohen. She's a ghostwriter for Broadway shows and everything else, but she's also been a foundation for me. And she has carried me through for a couple of decades. And of course, I'd like to thank my husband, Werner, because he's my support system as I am his, because, you know, when you go through life and you find a partner where you can have that additional support,
It's beautiful.
It makes a big difference.
That's beautiful. Wonderful. Yeah. Well, that's it for today's Fabulous Solutions Show with Heshy Siegel and the Purity Water System. You can go to kidsbetterworld.com. And the Asian Oprah giveaway actually is also from Heshy. She is offering what did we say?
I do. In my other life, I'm a speaker and trainer, so I do programs about relationship building, but I do a really hot program called How to Turn Business Cards into Business. So if you reach out to me at Heshy Siegel at kidsbetterworld.com, I actually will send you 10 hot tips on how to turn business cards into business.
There you go. And that is Heshy Siegel. Thank you so much for coming on the air with me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
All righty, and now it is time for the end of the show where I invite you to step up to my balance bar. And today is day 7 on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. And the balance tip for today is, are you having a midlife opportunity? It is time for you to stop complaining, because complaining is actually a low vibrating energetic. So you've heard me talk about how we are all energy. If you think about it, when you die, you don't, you know, people who are in a hospital bed and you see them, do you die because you lose your brain activity? No, you can actually still be on life support and you're brain dead, but you're still alive. Are you alive when you stop breathing? No, you can go on a breath machine and still be kept alive. The moment of death happens when that electrical pulse goes flatline. So it's proof that we are energy. And because we are energy, we feel good and bad depending on where we're vibrating. Complaining is a low vibration activity, like worry, anxiety, fear. All of those that vibrate at this level don't make you feel good. You do not feel good when you complain. You do not feel good when you're anxious. You do not feel good when you're worrying. So I'd like you to up your energetic, get on some high vibrating discs, as Esther and Jerry Hicks talk about through Abraham. High vibration feelings are bliss and wonder and appreciation and gratitude and forgiveness and kindness. All of those are high vibrating, and they have one thing in common. You feel better when you're in that energetic state. So drop the complaining energy, the low vibrating, feel good, get back into midlife opportunity to feel in your spiritual birthright, which is enjoy, happiness, peace, and wonder. And that is today's balance tip on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. If you haven't already signed up for round 77, we are in November. We've been doing this since July 1st, 2011. Thousands of people online. If you register at the number 4balance.org and you manage 21 consecutive days, you do get a prize, which is a free pack of my motivational cards, 52 card pick-me-ups, stacking the deck for life balance with Dr. Marissa. So make sure you register so you can qualify to win. We need a guy to win. We only have 3 women who have completed the fast, so we need a guy. It's about time you all stopped complaining and joined the fast. And please do get the app that was created by teenagers. That is on both platforms, and it's only 99 cents. And as usual, all of my Balance products, all proceeds go to my piecework around the planet, working with kids, India this last year, China, Africa, Brazil. So you can help me out by supporting me and buying your own Balance app. And if you would like your products or service highlighted with me here and have a commercial built around your product or service on a show about hope and happiness, I'm offering affordable and discount rates for the end of this year. Just contact me at forbalance.org. Also, next Monday, as every Monday, we've been doing Sunset Balance Tai Qigong, a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Go to Meetup, put in Dr. Marissa Pei, and get the details there. No experience necessary. It's a combination of Tai Chi, Qigong, and New Thought, Ancient Wisdom. It's kind of like a Chinese yoga therapy, and I talk through some of the forms so that you can have more hope and happiness in your life. If you would like to do more than just the Tai Chi and work with me on the beach, I am taking calls right now to see if you're a fit with me. I have a limited number. I have 8 slots for next year, and half of them are already filled. So if you'd like to work with me on the beach, please do sign up for a free fit call for life balance coaching, and we'll get you on the road to more hope and happiness. Next week, we are coming out with another show about a cure for malaria. Oz Schaefer will be coming on to talk about it in another solution guest to see if you can't help people and all over the world who are now needlessly dying from malaria. We do have a cure. You will hear about it next week. So keep it tuned to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa Pei. That's P for positive EI. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
Learned to cry at an early age. People around me, my heart in a cage. Life was a book, don't turn a page.
KCAA.
Exploring science in the sea. More than 5 miles below the surface of the Pacific Ocean, the temperature is near freezing. There's no sunlight, and the pressure is more than 5 tons per square inch. Yet that forbidding zone is home to the deepest fish yet seen, a tadpole-shaped creature known as a snailfish. It was found in late 2014 in the Mariana Trench, the deepest spot in all the oceans. It bottoms out at a depth of 7 miles. It's one of more than a score of ocean trenches. They form where one of the plates that make up Earth's crust plunges below another, forming a deep wrinkle in the ocean floor. When scientists first discovered marine trenches, it seemed impossible for anything to live in such a hostile environment. Yet biologists have cataloged thousands of species of life in the trenches, many of which were previously unknown. A recent study